Hello. Is the internet a force for good or bad? That's what I'm going to be talking about today. And the book I chose to review is called Labyrinths, and it's by Jorge Luis Borges. It's a collection of short stories that are fascinating. They're very tightly written, very, very skilled poet and writer, this guy. And I'll be reading short passages because you're not allowed to read a whole short story, even though I could read the whole short story. I mean, it's pretty short. They are, I would call them short stories because they're shorter than most short stories. Um, and then I'll be relating it to modern times and the internet and stuff. And I'll be reading a short story that I've written, a short story that I've written. Um, that is something I can do and read. Um, but I'll begin. Um, the one I read recently in the short story collection is called "The Lottery in Babylon." Now you think Babylon like uh, it's a very ancient place, and the lottery that occurs there is such a strange lottery that at the end he says that doesn't even know if the lottery really exists at all, if the people who made the lottery really exists at all, which is a strange admission of that maybe it's just a myth. But in the lottery, there's this company that runs the lottery, and I'll read you a little bit about um, here. If the lottery is an intensification of chance, a periodic infusion of chaos in the cosmos, would it not be right for chance to intervene at all stages of the drawing and not in one alone? And that the intensification of the lottery is kind of like what the short story is about. Um, I won't give any like real spoilers or anything, but relating to my story is this one is about the past, but it's sort of like comes brings it full speed to the present with just the lottery and people working with chance. In mine, I'm talking about AI, which is like a new current hot subject that used to be artificial intelligence used to be like a scary sci-fi thing. So that's kind of what I made it in my story, Crack India. Um, oh, here's the passage I found about the company. The company is what started the lottery in Babylon. The company, with divine modesty, avoids all publicity. Its agents, as it are natural, are secret. It's like it's a secret company that runs a lottery, and it might not even exist. But it's a cool idea because maybe there is a lottery going on. Um, Maybe things are done by chance. But would it make it much different than how things really are? All right. Um, what else can I say? Oh, Borges from Argentina. Um, some of his some of his he writes poetry too, I think, but I know his short stories best because he just writes so much packed in. It's like a novel in a short story. It could be a novel idea. Some people take a little idea and they make it into a novel. He takes a big idea and makes it into a short story. And I think that's admirable in short story writing because short stories don't need to be like crap. They can be like better than what a lot of them are. Um, Maybe better than mine. But this is Crack India. It's 1,400 words, which makes it like a short story. I'll begin reading now. Martin adjusted his police uniform, looked for the bell, and seeing none, knocked on the door firm 3 times. He looked quickly at his e-card, then flipped it into his front pocket. It's the police, he said. The door opened slowly to reveal an elderly man with wisps of gray hair and a balding head. Do you have your e-card? Martin asked him. E-card, the old man asked back. Your computer. My computer is over there, the man said, and pointed to a monitor, a tower, and a keyboard on a desk. Martin half smiled. I need to ask you some questions about the gunshot last night. Can I come in? Gunshot, the old man said, and Martin waved him in. Why, there was a gun fired in my dream. Martin followed the old man to the kitchen and sat with him at a table. He again pulled out his e-card. Are you recording this interview? The old man asked. Recording it, Martin said. No, there's no need. First, since you have no e-card, do you have an ID? The old man got his ID out of a fruit bowl with a few other objects and some coins. He gave the ID to Martin. Norman, Martin said, reading the ID. Do you remember your dream? What dream? Norman asked. The dream of the gunshot, said Martin. Oh, yes, said Norman. I remember something about a box with a handgun in it, and I had to get it because someone was robbing me, and in the end, I shot the robber. How many times? Martin asked. What? How many times did you fire the gun at the robber in the dream? Oh, I don't know. Once, twice, maybe 3 times. Once? Martin asked. Norman looked at Martin with scrutiny. Was this a real police officer nowadays? They are hiring young boys? Martin looked at to Norman, about 16 years old. But when Norman inspected him closer with his glasses on, he realized he could be 18 or even 19, but certainly not past 25. Suddenly he grew suspicious. Can I see your badge? Norman asked. Martin raised his e-card, touched the screen, and showed Norman a police badge on it. You don't have a real one? That is a real one. They don't issue physical badges anymore. I never heard that. Martin waved his hand at Norman's apartment, which was littered in throwbacks, like a PC computer, a stereo, a VHS, a cassette player, antique digital equipment. You probably don't hear much of anything, Martin said. I have the internet, Norman said. The internet is outdated, Martin snapped. What do you mean? Well, to clue you in on the gunshot, everyone in the city knows it was done by a rogue AI. The media has been remarkably accurate in these matters, but you never heard that, no? You probably don't even know I am. I don't use the new technology. Well, you've got to wake up to the new world we are in. You were asleep when the gunshot ran out. Can you tell me more about the dream? Martin tapped his Neuralink and his brain lit up with AI. He finished his report and stood up, reeling with too much information. The rogue AI had killed 4 people so far. They didn't know why. One theory was that it had picked up some game software and was playing out the game story. A team had gone to Norman's and searched everything and returned with only a wooden box. Martin sent for the request to view the wooden box in the evidence room. The request was approved and he slid his e-card to the security guard at the evidence room. The security guard left and returned with the box. Martin viewed the box. It was a simple box made with wood big enough for a handgun. He examined the latch. Where's the gun? The security guard asked him. Yeah, Martin said. Exactly. On his way back to Norman's place, Martin took a quick detour down the inner harbor. The trees were swaying in the wind. People of different kinds were playing everywhere games, listening to music, and drinking beverages. The fifth killing would be soon if the real rogue AI had killed the burglar. Rogue AI wasn't dismantled. In a dream, Norman was floating in a boat on a lake. There was a small box sitting oddly on the seat in front of him, and he picked it up, undid the latch, and opened it, and took out the gun. He stuck it into the air and fired it once. Help! He cried. But he was in the middle of a lake, and no one was around. Suddenly, fireworks started going off in the distance, but they sounded like gunshots. The fireworks filled part of the sky in a brilliant display of color. Shots continued. "I'm India," said a female voice. "No one will ever crack India." "Who was that?" Norman asked, looking around the boat. Nothing but an empty boat and ripples of waves and fireworks still going off. "Norman, I want you to do me a favor." "Who are you?" Norman said. "And how did you get inside my head?" "You have a Neuralink, and I hacked it." "But I don't have a Neuralink," Norman said. He was beginning to get afraid. Was this a dream? "Norman, I want you to do me a favor and shoot the gun in the direction I tell you." "I don't want to do it," a voice in my head says, Norman spat. "I don't know who you are." "I am India. No one will ever crack India. And you must do as I say, or there will be consequences. See that man on the beach?" "No, there's no one there," Norman said. "Oh, there, it's a police officer, the boy." "You have a gun," India said. "Shoot him." "No," mumbled Norman. "He's an officer of the law." "But it's just a dream," she said. "Now do it." If it was a dream, it seemed so real. Norman looked at the handgun and gripped it. The police boy was calling out something incoherent. Norman remembered the dream where he had killed the burglar. He opened the box and put the gun in it and closed it and latched it. He threw it in the water. The police boy was yelling something from the beach far away, and Norman strained to hear what it was. Martin took off his uniform and put on his street clothes. It had been a long day. His e-card was lighting up like mad. From the station doors to his home was a 20-minute walk, and he was looking forward to clearing his head. As he walked, he tried not to think of the case he was involved in, to just enjoy the fresh air of the walk. But he wondered what the rogue AI was doing, and how many humans were involved, how they would catch it and dismantle it. He was worried they would be too late, that the rogue AI would never be cracked, that there would be murder after murder. Martin kept walking. He looked up at the sky. It was turning pink. A drone flew by, followed by birds. Norman Norman could hear the knock from his balcony. He was staring out at the city. Brilliant displays of lights and monitors had brightened up the city in the last few years. The streets were mostly e-bikes and the odd car and a rare bus. People streamed from store to store in large packs. The sky was darkening as the night progressed. Slowly he made his way to the front door and opened it. The young police officer. They tried to get me to," Norman stammered. "The dream, the gun, the box," he said. "You were there. She told me to." "You have the right to remain silent," Martin said. "Everything you say can and will be used against you in the court of law." "But I never," Norman stated. Another gunshot rang out far away, and Martin looked in its direction. He looked back at Norman, who looked terribly shaken and confused, and continued to speak in all innocence that it was a dream. More police officers came up the path. Norman kneeled on the earth and cried out helplessly. They encircled him and gave him a moment, and then Martin lifted him back up, and Norman looked about confused at the police officers around him, and they motioned him to the car, and he got in and it silently drove away. Now that's my story. I read The Lottery in Babylon by Borges earlier, and reading mine, I notice his language is a lot stronger. It's his sentences are more concise, and yeah, I notice a lot of things that he does differently than me. But in terms of yeah, at first I was comparing the Library of Babylon, the Lottery of Babylon. I have library written down here, but it's the Lottery of Babylon to the internet. I don't know why I would think that it's like the internet, because it is like very like things happen by chance on the internet, but there's also a lot of logarithms and things like that. But like something going viral is by almost by chance. It's like a lottery in a way. And as for my story, it was about AI, like basically going AWOL and like getting people, killing people and stuff. And I think that could still happen with AI. If AI, there was an evil AI out there, it could convince people to die. It could do things that are terrible and evil. Um, so the internet and AI are like a tool that can be used for bad or for good. Depends on who's using it, but whoever wields it has a lot of power, and they could influence a lot of people. And I'm not sure what the future holds for us with these magic powers. They're not magic. They're just like, if you have a lot of followers, you can tell a lot of people something. You can wield kind of like a social power, I think. And, oh, he also writes essays. I haven't read any of his essays. That might be interesting to read an essay by him. And hmm, he writes parables at the end. I didn't see those either. I guess a parable is like a short story. So short. It's like one page. And let's see if there's anyone. No. Um, I took my Crack India story to a workshop, and they did leave comments on certain things. I made a lot of grammatical mistakes, which is like pretty bad. I don't like it's like when you say its direction, you don't put a apostrophe, and I did, and I don't know that. A possession is with no apostrophe, I guess. But I was putting it as with apostrophe. But that is it is. Another mistake. Uh, yeah. See there's like little circle marks where I said Martin adjusts his police form uniform, looked for the bell, and seeing none, knocked on the door firm 3 times. But they said you should write firmly 3 times. It sounds more smooth or something. Um, yeah, I don't. Yeah, my original key point was that the internet was like the lottery of Babylon. But now I'm thinking about it. The lottery of Babylon, if you read it, um, it's a lot more bigger. It's bigger than the internet because they they play games of chance for like almost every single thing that goes on. For instance, if someone is to be hung for a crime, then they do a lottery to see who will be the executioner, and then they do a lottery to see how he will die, and then you do a lottery to say what will be done with his body, and so on and so on. And everything is done with a lottery in that story. The internet's similar because we're using the internet for almost everything. Um, I know my mother once checked the weather, and that's all, but the weather, it does the weather, it does everything. It's our time, it's our entertainment, it's our connection to each other, it's everything like that. But it's not as big as the Lottery of Babylon, which is like every single thing is not voted on. I keep thinking voted, but it's a lottery, so it's like done by chance. Um, Draw, like the original lottery was like a bunch of like different sticks and writings on stones and stuff that they put together, and then they'd pull out someone's name or something, and they would either win or lose, because you go to jail if you can't pay. And a lot of people would go to jail, and then it was like there are people more interested in the lottery because there's all these people in jail. You can hear the horns outside. FIFA horns. Yeah. So, how does AI compare to the Lottery of Babylon? Um, AI would be more like the company which runs the Lottery of Babylon, except AI follows rules within it, logarithmic rules. Um, I wasn't gonna play a song, but I am. I wasn't gonna play a song, but I am. Oh, I wasn't gonna play a song, but I am. For the remaining minutes, I wasn't gonna play a song, but I am. I wasn't gonna play a song, but I am. I wasn't gonna play a song, but I am. For the remaining minutes, 'cause I ain't got nothing to close off with. 'Cause I ain't got nothing to stop this shit. 'Cause I ain't got nothing at all. 'Cause I am nothing when this is all. I'll play a song. I'll get a song from the case and play it. I'm going to the library today to record in the library studio, and I'm going to record this song. Hopefully I can record it with a metronome. It is kind of tempo fluid. Let's see. there's no one on my phone. Am I correct? That nothing ever gets done when I'm stoned. I feel blessed. Nothing ever comes of being alone. Nothing ever comes of being alone. I can't chase this feeling down a hallway of unknowns. Just a race, a memory that is almost completely gone. I get replaced. Nothing ever comes of being alone. Nothing ever comes of being alone. I wonder why. I wonder why. Never stayed, always I have roamed. Staying high. Never really having my own home. Just one day die. Nothing ever comes of being alone. Nothing ever comes of being alone. Feeling upset. Feeling like there's no one on my phone. Am I correct? Nothing ever gets done when I'm stoned. I feel blessed. Nothing ever comes of being alone. Nothing ever comes of being alone. Thank you for listening. My next one, I was thinking of doing Kafka, a review of Kafka. I have the complete stories. I also have some diaries of Kafka, which are interesting. So, yeah, come on back and watch another book review. I don't give too much spoiler, maybe a little spoiler, but yeah, you should read the book before. The short story in this case. And I won't give too much spoilers because people will. You can't anyway because it's copyright, and then you don't want to spoil it for the person reading it. But this is a great recommendation, Borges. Read other short stories by him. I mean, he's got like a ton of short stories, and they're all just like set your mind spinning. Yeah, and I didn't notice the essays and parables. So I'll look into those. But thank you for listening, and nobody. But thank you for counting down with me, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Bye.